Hi Aries, welcome to Creative Intuition Tarot. My name is MJ. I hope you are well and that you had a good beginning of 2022. Aries, this is your mid-January general reading. Let's get straight into it with the first card in the center of the spread representing you. You have the Five of Air. At least one sign already headed in your energy as well. So very interesting that it comes up so often in the middle of January 2022. Couple cards represent your surrounding energies. You have the Page of Water, so that is the Page of Cups. Two cards here. Seven of Water, the Magician, Ace of Water. Okay, so a lot of water in your energy. And you have the Judgment card, the Call, in this deck at the bottom of the deck. So two major arcanas. One signifying that you are on the verge of a new opening, and Magician number one, which is a new opening, right? So very symbolic. And also being on the verge, I looked at her dancing on one leg on that string, also somehow balancing on the edge, maybe on the edge of two like life phases. You're almost balancing in between. Okay, so very interesting. Let's see what we have for you with the Five of Air in this particular deck. I see it as leaving conflict behind. Five of Air, Five of Swords, typically a card of some kind of conflict, can be verbal with somewhat unkind, maybe harsh communication. Swords can represent a weapon, words, right? So, but you are leaving this behind, freeing yourself up, removing yourself from that situation very gracefully, perhaps walking on the thin line. So it may be risky what you're doing, but you are doing this gracefully. Maybe you have been preparing yourself for a long time to do this. And with all the birds, I think these are doves, there's freedom and there's peace. So you are removing yourself out of the conflict, out of imbalance and chaos, right? So I really like this for you. And with the Call, I feel that you have been called, like, hear the call and act upon it. With the Judgment card, you heard the call and you realize that it's really high time to remove yourself from that situation that was not serving you, especially in your mental space with the air element, right? I think you have significantly calmed down your mental space. That's how you are removing yourself from this conflicting situation, whether it was with someone or your inner conflict. You calmed your mental space down and you have spent time preparing yourself to do it. And you have also done it with like surgical precision, hence this walking on a thin line. Like you have almost been curing your mental space with surgical precision, not to hurt yourself, like balancing. You know, you know this saying, like an elephant in a porcelain store, something like this, like trying not to crush anything that surrounds you. Okay, like move through the process without any distraction. Okay, I hope that makes sense. With the Page of Water, so this is the Page of Cups again. Purity, like childlike purity, innocence, but also makes me think of openness and creativity, like being able to open yourself to unusual, maybe to romantic, maybe something related to imagination, childlike imagination. When we are kids, we are a lot more open, like our imagination thrives. There are no limits, right, to what we can imagine and what we can believe that is possible. So I feel that you have been able to move yourself away from that somewhat challenging mental space, let's just call it, because you opened yourself up. You are opening yourself up to unusual in your creative and emotional spheres. That's also highlighted by the Seven of Water, because it's all about dreams, daydreaming, visualizing. It's also about choosing options, so there's plentifulness. Again, your imagination thrives. You are unleashing your imagination. There's no limit to what you can imagine and hence believe that it's possible. And that opening, that fresh perspective, pages, as I said, can represent young people, children as well, but it can represent a youthful spirit. You are rejuvenated. This is you in that young-hearted energy, okay? And definitely that childlike creativity and imagination is helping you move forward and create the reality that you desire with the Magician, because I cannot stress this enough. When we are children, we believe that there's no limit to what we can imagine and make it possible and create it. And that's all about the Magician, right? Having everything in your hands to be able to create what you desire. Almost make magic, but it's all in your hands, in your willpower. It's also about seizing your magic, right? Realizing how creatively productive you can be, and magically productive, okay? Realizing your resources. The Magician is not creating something out of nothing. Always works with what he has with the resources that he has, right? So he's able to change the existing circumstances, to shift them to be how he wants the reality to be, right? And that's a true power, right? And with the Ace of Water, he's able to make miracles. That's an overflow, that's plentifulness, that's an abundance, and that is tapping into limitless, creative, joyful, like fountain, okay? Once you tap into this fountain, I wanted to say there's no turning back, but that's not the right way to say it. It's just that your connection to it is endless unless you give it up. In this particular deck, I don't see the infinity symbol in the Magician card, but it's always there, right? It symbolizes that once you tap into your creative magic resources, you have that connection forever. It's available to you with no limit, unless you give the connection up. So by going through all that, but opening up to something new, unusual, childlike, you open up to the abundance of your imagination. It can be related even to your business ideas, but it's about the resources, creative resources that you discover in yourself. And then the ability that you can actually manifest them into reality. Once you realize this, you are tapping with the Ace of Water into that limitless source of inspiration, creative ideas, but also happiness, abundance, joy, and limitless resources of whatever kind. With the Magician, I said it's all about working with your resources, and you realize that they are limitless. And you have been called. It's also, it was in your destiny to some extent with the call card, to hear this call and move away from that mental space where you were stuck. It may be leaving your human ego, like limited mindset behind. It may be tapping into higher creativity, higher spirituality for a lot of you. But remember, it can relate to any area of life. The reading may be metaphorical, but in any area of your life, you are freeing yourself up. You have taken some kind of a risk and were balancing on a thin line. But you have opened yourself up to unusual. It could have been a relationship, a job, a business project, a creative project, and you tapped into, with all that surrounds you, or you are going through this process, into a limitless source of ideas, inspirations, abundance, and resources of whatever kind. So, and it's all, you realize your power, the power of your hands to create what you desire, and that power, no one can take it away from you unless you give up the connection to that limitless source. So that is absolutely beautiful. And I'll just leave it there. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. It's definitely very uplifting, very magical. Some kind of up-leveling for you. So please take care of yourself. Have a wonderful rest of January, and I will see you soon. Bye.